From my hood to your hood, it's about to wild out. How you do that there?
Governor Newsom's proposed education budget took to the Capitol on Tuesday. The Black in School Coalition held a rally yesterday. They say the governor's budget doesn't do enough to close the academic achievement gap between black students and other groups on state tests.
There's a lot of talk about the ways in which California is leading, but when it comes to black children and families, we're not leading. And so I believe that this state and the power and the social capital and the economic capital that it has can do a lot better by black children and families.
The Black in School Coalition says black students are getting scraps in terms of California education funding. They claim the budget as it stands helps mostly Latino students, but the black students are below every other racial or ethnic group when it comes to classroom performance.
My name is Romel Antoine, a member of the Black in School Coalition. The Black in School Coalition is a 17-member organization that consists of civil rights, education, and faith-based groups focused on equity and education for California's black students. The Governor's Equity Multiplier is in direct response to AB 2774, a bill that sought to add the state's lowest performing subgroup, not already generating supplemental or concentration funding, which is currently black students. That bill enjoyed unanimous bipartisan support in the Assembly and the Senate, but was shelved at the Governor's request with the promise of a compromise. And that compromise, the Equity Multiplier, was created to address California's historic underfunding of its black students, yet only 5% of the funding, as proposed, gets to these students. The coalition has put forward an alternative that would get 90% of the equity multiplier to a student group where 70% don't currently read and write on grade level and 84% don't currently do math on grade level. This is in the case of if we would just get a little more, we would see a little more, because since this issue was introduced in 2018, this specific group of unfunded students, again, unfunded students, has continued to decline in academic performance, outpacing any of their peer groups. Consider our proposal. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Margaret Fortune with the Black in School Coalition. We have a support, if amended, position on this item, the equity multiplier. We'd like the committee to consider directing the $300 million in the governor's equity multiplier funding to student groups who are below the state average on 2 or more of the state indicators on the California school dashboard. That would increase the per pupil funding from $713 under the governor's proposal to $3,318 per student on an ongoing basis to the students in California with the greatest academic needs.
My name is Christina Laster, Western Regional Education Director of the National Action Network, NAN. Our motto is no justice, no peace. California has been not leading the way with regards to its treatment of black children and families. I want to point out that not many black students actually attend the low-income schools that are the focus of the governor's equity multiplier. Only 5% of the students in these schools are black. That's why the equity multiplier should focus on the lowest performing student groups. We recommend student groups who are below the state average on 2 or more state indicators on the California schools dashboard. That would put the student groups that are in the most academic needs as target of our focus, not because of their race, but because of their performance.
Hello, my name is Joyce Spitzer Campbell. I'm the education chair for San Bernardino NAACP. I support the alternative proposal through the Black Coalition. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Ramona Bishop. I am the visionary and CEO of Elite Public Schools, a school uniquely designed to eliminate the opportunity gap for black and brown students. I certainly appreciate those members that are still sitting here. It was nice to see an advocate for Latino students that stated that. Our goal today is to make sure that you consider the alternative proposal for the equity multiplier, which will address the needs not only of the students that are standing here, but not parlay poverty into being underperforming. Black students in this state deserve your care, they deserve our attention, and they deserve our best. Thank you.
My name is Deborah Watkins. I am the founder and executive director of a Black Education Network. After graduating from the Stanford Teacher Education Program in 1977, I started working in the largest high school district in Silicon Valley. Black students were doing poorly then, and organizations had to be established to bring attention to their plight. In 2001, when I established the California Alliance of African American Educators, now called a Black Education Network, it was because the majority of our children are still not being served.
You ready?
We're gonna let the band deal with it.
no two of us, not even identical twins, are the same, right? But we're colonized to believe that we're all supposed to be equal. You know, they didn't call America the melting pot for nothing, because what were they trying to melt us into, right? And that was a term that was used for people that were immigrating. So if you were brought here, if we're in captivity, born and bred, then definitely looking at the word race, even not from the social construct per se, but looking at the word race, if we think about the Kentucky Derby, okay? That's why you'll hear words in education like "No Child Left Behind," "Race to the Top," right? Because they already know that through controlled deprivation, if you deprive some, others are going to be ahead, and they already were ahead anyway by design, right? And then, okay, everybody go race and go get it. And so if we start thinking about race in the term of, oh yeah, they establish a skin color social construct rules around that, but they also use it as a system by which controlled deprivation thrives. What do I mean by controlled deprivation? Well, controlled deprivation is basically the people that are in control can deprive certain groups and allow other immunities and privileges to the ones that are surrounding them. And then the groups that are deprived begin to get so desperate that they will do anything for what the other group has. Okay, so we have to be very we have to understand clearly that this is all by design, and this is what they do to our children. Control, deprive them of what they desire, of what they need, of what they should have to develop and grow in an environment that's supposed to be meant for that, right? We talk about education systems. They deprive them on purpose, and our children watch other people have access to what they do not, and it stunts our kids' growth.
Let's go! Let's go! Hey! 3, 2, 1, shake it, go! Okay, what's up?
As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save.
Anytime you have to rely upon your enemy for a job, you're in bad shape. And he is your enemy. Anytime you wouldn't be in this country if some enemy hadn't kidnapped you and brought you here. On the other hand, some of you think you came here on the Mayflower. Whether you are a Christian or a Muslim or a nationalist, we all have the same problem. They don't hang you because you're a Baptist. They hang you because you're black. Let's catch hell from the same enemy. We're all in the same bag, in the same boat. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. All of them from the same enemy. The government has failed us. You can't deny that. Anytime you live in the 20th century, 1964, and you walking around here singing, "We shall overcome," the government has failed. They don't attack me because I'm a Muslim. They attack me because I'm black. They attack all of us for the same reason. All of us is part of what's wrong with you. You do too much singing. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging. You can't sing up on freedom, but you can swing up on some freedom. Cassius Clay can sing, but singing didn't help him to become the heavyweight champion of the world. Swinging helped him. So this government has failed us. The government itself has failed us. And the white liberals who have been posing as our friends have failed us. And once we see that all these other sources to which we've turned have failed, we stop turning to them and turn to ourselves. We need a self-help program. Do it yourself philosophy. Do it right now philosophy. It's already too late philosophy. This is what you and I need to get with. And the only way we're going to solve our problem is with a self-help program. Before we can get a self-help program started, we have to have a self-help philosophy.
From my hood to your hood, it's about to wild out. How you do that, there?
Governor Newsom's proposed education budget took to the Capitol on Tuesday. The Black in School Coalition held a rally yesterday. They say the governor's budget doesn't do enough to close the academic achievement